What is up, everybody? Today is the 1st of September, 2021, and me and Michael are back at it again, here to talk some soccer with everyone out there. Michael, what's up?
Not much. We took maybe close to a month off, maybe, but we're
Yeah,
back.
yeah. And looking back when we did, everything looked like it was kind of slowing down. It wasn't really any, transfers going on. Like, I think I even said to you at one point, I was like, yeah, I don't really see much going down here. And
Yeah,
then over the last, I guess, week, or even 2 weeks, it's been insanity.
yeah. I mean, it the biggest transfer window ever. I think the
Yeah,
biggest names have been moved.
yeah, especially considering, the two biggest names probably in soccer history other than like maybe Pele and Maradona, but
Yeah,
they switched clubs. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about that. Also, start of the Premier League season, as well as the Bundesliga, La Liga, League One, everything like that. So we'll get into a little bit of that. Also, some World Cup qualifiers upcoming. Some bad news for the U.S. today, but we'll talk about that when we get there. And yeah, just the start of the Premier League season, and it's been awesome. Michael, you went to Hawaii. How was Hawaii?
it was pretty amazing. I can't lie. It was so nice, as I was saying earlier. But I mean, it was. I mean, it was just amazing. I love the
How long
beach.
were you, how long were you there?
I was there for a week.
Nice, nice. Did you
Yeah,
go with like your family, or did you go with buddies, or what?
but yeah, just my buddies.
Oh my
It was
God.
super cool
Yeah, that sounds like a trip of a lifetime.
for
But
sure.
at least you got to come back for basically all this stuff to happen. So
Yeah, I didn't
um,
miss any of it.
yeah, let's get right into it. Today in soccer history, I don't know if these all happen on the same day because on this in sports history website, it like has dates next to them. But I'm just gonna read these things as they at least happened at some point in this year that I said them.
Yep.
In 2001, in a world record fee for a soccer goalkeeper, Juventus signed Parma's Gianluigi Buffon to a 32.5 million pounds deal that included sending midfielder Jonathan Bashini to Parma. So that was pretty big. I mean, Buffon's only been out of the game for a
A
year,
year?
two?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
one of the
And
best.
Italy already has the next Buffon, so but we can talk
Yeah.
about him as well. In 2012, the Super League Greece football match between Olympiacos and Panathinaikos is abandoned after fans set fire to Athens Olympic Stadium. I don't know what it is about soccer fans and fires and like fireworks, but like they just have no fear of it. It's
Yeah, it's just different, I guess. I mean,
yeah,
I actually remember hearing about this in 2012.
I think I do too. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, there's just, I mean, these small countries that have these soccer matches, I
yeah.
mean, they just go insane. They go insane. So
Too much passion.
it's awesome. And then also in 2012, a financially troubled Scottish football club Rangers is voted into the third division. I don't know where they are now. I do know Rangers and who's the other Scottish team?
Celtic.
What? Celtic. Yeah,
Celtic.
they were like the two of the biggest clubs like way early on.
They're
But
back. I mean, they just won the Scottish Premier League, I think. I'm like 90% sure Steven Gerrard's their manager too.
really,
Yeah,
Rangers or Celtic?
Rangers.
Oh wow, that's yeah. I'm looking that
Pretty
up right
sure.
now. No, it's Chris Woodward. I don't know. He's not the manager. I'll see where Steven Gerrard is the manager.
Where
His name came up with Rangers, so
it says he's managing Rangers here.
yeah, it does too as well. Yeah, I don't.
Since
Yeah, okay, so I
2015.
guess yeah, you're right. Steven Gerrard does manage Rangers. I don't know why when I searched Rangers manager. Oh, you know who it probably was? It probably came up with the Texas Rangers
It might
guy. Yeah.
have. It might have.
Okay, well, that was my fault. Um, but yeah, let's get into probably some of the biggest news that happened over just the past 5 6 days even. Um, Cristiano Ronaldo is heading back to Manchester United, where he first signed out of Sporting Lisbon. I'm obviously a huge Manchester United fan. I'm a huge Cristiano Ronaldo fan. I've been a Cristiano Ronaldo fan over a Messi guy forever. But so I'll give my little point of view to it. So basically,
Yeah.
on Thursday, I was heading into work, and I got a text from my brother, and he was like, "Ronaldo to City," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, I was losing my mind. I was like, I mean. I just can't believe because Cristiano is so like egotistical, like just like all the good soccer players are. That he's like, yeah, I just want to go to the biggest club, get the most money. But even then, I was like, how could he do this to United fans? Like, I'm
Mhm.
not even the biggest ones, but people in Manchester were like so mad about it. And I just had to deal with it kind of all day. I mean, it was going to happen because I mean, we'll talk about Harry Kane later, but it seems like City had pulled out of the Kane talks, and they were now all in to get Cristiano Ronaldo. And so on Thursday, I was just like, this sucks. And then on Friday, I walk in and I just whatever the ESPN app comes to my phone because I hadn't checked anything in the morning at all. I still assumed he was just going to City, and
Mhm.
I checked ESPN breaking news, and it was like Ronaldo set to head back to United. Blah 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 blah. And I obviously followed it all day until it finally got confirmed. It was incredible. It's an incredible feeling. Basically, apparently, a lot of like the guys that played with Ronaldo United, like Rio Ferdinand,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even he said Sir Alex was a huge factor in bringing him back. So yeah, I really do think that at the end he was kind of like he does kind of care about his reputation, and it really would have been just he would have been known as the soccer mercenary by just going to different clubs. So I'm happy that he's home. I have some interesting questions going forward that we could talk about, but
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on that a whole saga?
I mean, I was one who always was a little skeptical of the City rumors because you never heard Ronaldo say anything about it. But I mean, I'm not a United fan or a Ronaldo fan particularly. I mean, obviously he's amazing, but it's cool to see him go back to like it's not his boyhood club, but it's like the club that made him. So
Yeah,
it's I mean, it's pretty awesome. I don't know exactly how he's going to fit with that team.
yeah. So we could talk about that a little bit. So obviously in Manchester United's opening game versus Leeds, I mean they killed them. It was I thought we were back to like the 2008, 2009 days where we're gonna Paul Pogba was sent. I
Yeah.
mean Bruno's hat trick was really good, but the passes that the four assists that Pogba had, I mean they were insane. So you got to think that. Well, first of all, as soon as I saw that Ronaldo's coming back, I was like, I kind of think Bruno is probably pissed a little bit because he
Yeah.
had to be like the second fiddle for him and uh, for Portugal in the Euros. But I've heard things that they are Ronaldo's more of willing to be a passer nowadays, whatever. But still, so the United now have Cavani is back healthy again. They will have Rashford back. Thankfully, I like Daniel James. He was good, but it wasn't going to be fair to keep him on the team. He wasn't going to see the field like literally at all.
Mhm.
So they sold him to Leeds, where he'll have a lot of chance to. I mean, he's still only 21 or 22, so he'll have a lot of chance to grow and play. But yeah, they had to loan him out because he was never going to find nowhere in the team ever. And then I do think they'll move. I know West Ham is trying to get Jesse Lingard back on loan. I think Manchester United want to straight up just sell him to West Ham,
Mhm.
which either way I'm fine with. I like Jesse Lingard. He's like a cool guy to follow. I like what he does on social media and stuff. But I don't think he's kind of like Daniel James for me. He's not going to really have a spot anywhere.
Yeah.
But still, with so you would think you'll play Ronaldo will be the all and out center forward. I would think, and then you'll play either you got to play Bruno behind him, and then I think you probably play Jaden or Sancho and Rashford once he's back healthy on the wings. But the main question I have is, I mean, Mason Greenwood has looked in like really really good. He's got 3 and 3. might turn into a super sub, but I also think that if you're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that I mean, you've got to find him regular minutes almost every game. Like you get
Yeah.
him in the starting lineup every once in a while, and obviously Rashford's still out, so Greenwood will still get some. But yeah, I mean, he's played really well. I don't know where he fits in the long term run. Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like you got to keep developing him because he's so young, but he's not a player you can send on loan really because he's so like he can play in the first team.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not really even a problem with Ronaldo being there because I mean,
yeah,
it was either going to be Ronaldo or Cavani up top, and obviously Ronaldo's better. So it's
yeah.
just, I mean, that's like a good. They always say that's a good problem to have for the managers when you have like too many players
Yeah,
that you want to play.
and yeah, we can get back to Manchester United and the whole like the Premier League talk and Champions League talk in a little bit.
Yeah,
But if anything, what this shows me about United is they might have like obviously PSG's up there, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But they might have the most depth of any team in the world right now,
yeah,
and I don't necessarily we'll have to see how obviously things start off, but I don't think it's out of the question to think they can win both the league and the Champions League just because I mean even their second unit teams in like the EFL Cup and the all that stuff in England. I mean, they're even if it's like the second time play. I mean, they're going to be insane. They're just going to be really good. But so I'm really excited for that one. As I don't know, I think you would expect me to
yeah. I
be.
think I think you should. I think every United fan should be excited.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
their
And
star player back.
the videos of United fans like in like the subways and stuff in Manchester. I mean, once again, and we've said it all summer. I mean, soccer fans, they're just the best.
Yeah,
They're just the best. But we'll talk a little bit more about the Premier League. Some other big transfers that I really didn't see coming. Well, first of all, I mean, you've got to at this point almost just feel bad for Inter Milan. Like um, Lukaku is out of Chelsea. Um, Obviously, what can I think of his name? Christian Eriksen had the thing with his heart, so he hopefully isn't going to be playing this year.
yeah,
So you just got to feel bad for them. After watching Chelsea and Liverpool, I think Chelsea are a bit better than Liverpool in my opinion, but I
yeah,
think they're on the tier of teams that like can win the league, but they need some help. You know what I mean? Like I think Lukaku was a big someone who like he is at maybe at the top of his play. His form might be the best right now that he's ever had.
hmm
Um, so what did you think of Lukaku going back there? Chelsea also got Sowell on a
yeah.
loan, so that's a nice piece. So what were your thoughts on Chelsea?
I I think they're. I'm very high on them. I think they're probably the best team, maybe with Man City right now. Like just how their team is already, because it already looks like they're gonna mesh really well. I mean, they are already.
Mm-hmm.
And Lukaku was like, well, just like a striker was like the one thing they were missing because Timo Werner was so bad last year.
Yeah,
So
he's horrible.
I mean, Lukaku was like a perfect fit. It was either like it's either him, Kane, or Holland. Like those are the three strikers that everyone wants right now. So I mean, Chelsea is scary for a
Yeah,
non-Chelsea fan.
yeah. I wouldn't say Chelsea's my least favorite. I probably dislike City more, but I really don't like Chelsea. But they look good. So
Yeah,
yeah. Oddly enough, Liverpool didn't really do anything at all over the transfer window. I guess I don't know if that's oddly enough. They all go. I feel like they're always kind of quiet usually, and their big signings are more under the radar.
yeah.
So, what do you think of Liverpool this year?
They got Kanate, the center back, like, but he signed for them before the window, so like no one cared. But he's really good. I I think Liverpool's really good. Mo Salah, like he gets a lot of hate because like Bruno does and like Harry Kane does sometimes because they take the pens, so they score a
Mhm.
lot of goals. But he's so good, and
Yeah,
like the whole Liverpool team, they're just so good.
like It feels like almost every year since Mohamed Salah like broke out, I've been like in my head I'm like, okay, he's gonna take a step down this year. He's gonna take
Yeah,
a step down this year, and he's still playing at the same amazing level. He's just a little bit under the radar because
yeah,
people were so excited about him for like a year and a half, and now he's kind of in the back of people's heads. But he's still the same player, and he's still really really good.
yeah. And then another thing about him for me, because like we watch basketball so much, and all these guys look like human specimens. They're just like huge, but like nothing against him, but he doesn't look like an athlete. Like if you just see him, like if he was in like a suit, you'd be like, okay, he could be like an accountant or something. But he's just like he like takes his shirt off to celebrate. He's just ripped, and it's just like I really like him, even though I hate Liverpool. I think he's so good.
Yeah, I think, and then Van Dyke is back there,
He's
good
insane.
too, not healthy. I mean, he's up there when you talk about the best center backs in the game, if not the
Yeah,
best.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, we're gonna skip ahead a second and talk about guys who don't look like athletes. Son Heung-min, I think that's his name. I mean, I know that like when I did my article for Flurry, I like did my like top 11 players for each team. And I put Son Heung-min one, but just more because like, all right, I need to put a Spurs player in there. I need to find a way to get one in.
yeah.
He's been insane. He's been like he looks like the best player in the league right now.
I mean, I'll take that. He's I think for Spurs fans, we've known how good he is, but it's just I think for like all attackers, like if you're not scoring a goal or assisting, people won't think you're good. But there's so much that he does that no one notices, and he's been playing for the first two games. He was playing as a striker, which he's
Yeah.
not because Harry Kane was out. But now Kane is back, so he's back to like where Son can just run by anyone and Kane can find him anywhere. So I mean, we'll talk about it later, but Spurs are top of the table.
Oh, I know, buddy. I know. We will get into that discussion as well. But speaking of Harry Kane, I feel like this is, as a Spurs fan, this is a weird situation for you. So obviously, he was in the big move talks to City that kind of folded, and then he said he wanted to go to City. Um, so what I've taken out of this, and I'll let you explain everything more as a Spurs fan. What I've taken about out of this is Spurs have come out way on top because when he was trying to leave, they showed that they didn't really need him when they beat City 1-0 in the opening
Yeah.
game. I think Nuno was a great hire. I love that guy. Um, if anything, like I said, I think Spurs came out of this transfer window as winners by A, keeping on to Harry Kane, and B, also showing him that, like, hey, man, you can. Because I think even you at one point were like, you know what, I'm just ready for him to leave, whatever, get it over with.
Mhm.
But they showed that, and we'll get to them at the top of the table in a minute or two. But I mean, like I said, if I thought of anything of the transfer window, is that Harry Kane came out of it as a big loser because he looks bad and he openly came out and said he wanted to leave. And Spurs, like, I don't know what happened, but he didn't leave. So
Yeah. I don't know if I'd call him a loser. I mean, I don't know if he actually ever like said I want to leave Spurs. He always
okay,
just says like I want to win trophies, like which is like basically saying that since Spurs haven't won a trophy, but I think I mean, I don't think Spurs fans are mad at Kane anymore. Like they're like he's still the guy and I think he's starting to realize like we actually can win something here, but he's not going to get the Champions League this year because they're not in it. So I think if Spurs get Champions League this year, Kane will stay. If they don't, it's going to be the same summer over again.
yeah, I feel like Spurs were like you guys were like ready to have him move on, and like then you guys have looked incredible in the first game versus Man City, and now that he's back into the lineup, it's almost like yeah, dude, you were a douche for a little bit, but we're gonna welcome you back because we really could win the league this year.
Yeah, and it's they were, of course. There's like you have some untouchable players like I mean, men you would never sell Greenwood like those young guys, but
Mhm.
Spurs said City if you pay 160 euros or whatever it was pounds, then we'll talk. They highest they ever got was 100. So it's not like Spurs can't just let him go for less than he's worth
Oh
because he's the
yeah,
best striker in the world probably. So
yeah.
you have to get what he's worth. Any of
Well,
them?
best striker in the world. I might argue
Arguably,
with you over that one.
arguably.
Arguably, definitely. So yeah, I think Spurs have. The only thing, if there's one thing that I would say that I've taken away from these, either the first opening 3 weeks of the season and the transfer window, is that Spurs are really in like a serious threat to win the league, in my opinion. I think so. I mean,
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but they
well,
look
you know
good.
what? I respect that. This is almost like the old Browns fan in me, where it's like I don't want to get ahead of myself right now. It's almost like how I am about the Browns right now. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, on paper we're pretty damn good, but let's not
yeah.
let's hold the talk about 17-0. All right.
Because last year Spurs were top of the table for like the whole month of November, and then we got seventh. So I'm keeping my head level, but we're looking nice. We're
Yeah,
looking good.
absolutely, absolutely. Which speaking of the transfer, it also brings me to Man City, who I thought had maybe the weirdest transfer window. They got their guy in Grealish, whatever, however you want to call it, and I think that was a good signing. He's looked good for them.
Yeah,
Um, but um, but they basically were in talks to sign Kane and Ronaldo. In just it seemed like the last minute they pulled out, which I feel like it's very weird for City because they in the past just don't care about throwing money around.
yeah. So out of the Premier League teams, I'd say City had the worst window aside from Arsenal, because I think Arsenal was just buying players for no reason. But
Oh,
that's the thing.
we'll get to Arsenal.
But I mean, also City also did like they spent 100 million on Grealish, which is an extreme amount.
Yeah,
But they also sold a bunch of players, so I think they only spent like 30 million or something this summer. So it's not that much. But like you were saying, they wanted Kane, and then we haven't even talked about PSG and Messi. I don't think we've
right.
talked about Messi going to PSG yet. But when Messi was like trying to sign somewhere, he would obviously been linked with City because of Pep. And then City said, no, we want Kane. We're going to go for Kane. They miss Messi. They miss Kane. Then they miss Ronaldo. So I mean, they're still going to be a good team, obviously, but they definitely missed out on like the superstar.
Yeah, and I say more they were losers just because of what you expect from them more.
Yeah.
Just like Grealish was, yeah, that's $100 million signing, and honestly, I thought that's pretty much all they needed. Like I don't think Gabriel Jesus is that bad. Like he's not great,
Yeah.
but he's not that bad, and they have enough wing players and talent through the midfield that those guys can score if they have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
They,
they
I mean,
did.
they basically just play like the keeper, four defenders, and then six midfielders
Yeah.
because they have no striker. I mean, Jesus is like the striker, but he doesn't even play in the middle. He plays on the wing. So I mean, they're winning, so you can't really say anything, and they're so good. But I feel like if they got Kane, the rest of the world should just stop.
Yeah, yeah, and but it also like it almost brings me back to like Pep's days at Barcelona when I mean until they got Luis Suarez, I mean
Yeah,
technically Messi was their like center forward for the most part, but he
yeah,
played all over the field. So that was almost like that he's almost diluting back to that, which is fine. They can win like that, but yeah, I think they were ready to take a big swing for the grand slam and the home run, and I do think they just struck out.
yeah. I
So,
agree.
um, all right. Which one of the other ones do I have up here? I guess so. We do have to talk about PSG.
Yeah,
Um,
best
obviously,
best transfer window ever for a team, I think.
I agree. If they don't win the Champions League,
Yeah,
I mean, it's the biggest disappointment in soccer history.
yeah. I would say so. I mean, first they have to win League One because they didn't do that last year.
I, I think they could play their second unit and
Yeah,
easily win League
yeah,
One.
that was more of a joke, but they have to win the Champions League. They have to.
So they brought in Messi after his Barcelona, whatever that was, just fell apart in a matter of like a week. It was like a done deal, and then Like a week
Yeah.
later, it was completely off. So
Barcelona has major issues. They
yeah,
have,
oh, I mean, but you want to talk about losers of the transfer window? We can talk about
yeah.
Barcelona in a minute.
Or the
But
biggest
yeah,
loser is
PSG.
Sergio Aguero. Aguero went to Barcelona to be with Messi, and then Messi left.
Yeah, it's it's weird over there in
Yeah.
Camp Now. But I also think Messi was a huge signing from by PSG. I think it might be even bigger the fact that they were able to hold on to Mbappe.
Yeah, I have a different opinion on Mbappe, I
Go
guess.
ahead.
I because he's going to Madrid at some point. That's like
Yes, dude.
100%. So I mean, it's like a power play, I guess, that PSG's like, no, we don't want your 200 million. But his contract's done next year, so he's just gonna go for free. So why not just? I mean, I guess they want to win the Champions League this year with like their stacked team, but I feel like
Which
even without him, they could do it.
which also makes the consequences for this year for PSG
Yeah,
even that
exactly,
much more. Like
exactly.
if they don't win the Premier League or if they don't win the Champions League and then lose probably what would have been the most expensive transfer of all time for $0,
Yeah,
they might as well just fold into rubble. I mean,
yeah, exactly. That's. I mean, I think they said something about he might move in January. I don't see a player like Mbappe moving in January.
unless unless like I don't know, Lukaku gets hurt or someone has like an immediate need, like I don't know, maybe Vinicius Jr. goes really down or something, and Madrid just want to spend the money. But yeah, that's a transfer that happens over the summer, 100%
Yeah,
all the time. Another funny thing about PSG that actually my boss told me the day it happened, which I kind of laughed that he actually knew anything about it, but he was like, yeah, just imagine what Sergio Ramos and Lionel Messi in the same locker room kind of looks like.
yeah,
And I was like, and I told him, I was like, you know what? They probably just, all the teammates got to circle up, and for like 30 seconds, they just go at it and fight, and then it's done.
yeah. I saw like a little like cartoon video, and it was like it was if United and PSG play, and then like Messi and Ronaldo get in an argument, and Sergio Ramos comes, but then he starts like beating up Messi, and he's like, "Oh wait, you're on my team now." But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, who's gonna be PSG's captain? They have Messi, Marquinhos, Ramos,
you would.
Neymar, Mbappe. I think it's gonna be
Who,
Marquinhos still,
yeah, I would say, has it been him the whole time? Yeah, I don't think you can
but
change it.
I mean,
I would change it to Messi.
they have leadership for sure.
I mean, if you think about captains in other sports, you're all like your captain is like allowed to talk more to the referee and everything. And
Yeah,
let's be honest, if there's one player in the entire world that's going to get the most leeway and the most abstainedness from the referee, it's going to be Lionel Messi. So
yeah,
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it goes to him, or it wouldn't. It also wouldn't surprise me if it maybe went to Mbappe or something like that. I don't
hmm
know. It could. I mean, they could throw it around the room and just every other week have a different guy.
yeah. Honestly,
Um, all right. So we'll keep talking in the transfer window. Inter Milan, Mbappe. Yeah. The last thing I guess must have happened last night. Another blow to Barcelona. But I think it's actually helping them probably recoup some of their huge money issues. I
yeah.
guess that's the only reason they would do it. But Griezmann is back on loan at Atletico.
hmm
I believe they still held on to João Felix as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Barcelona. All right, I'll ask you first. What do you think about Barcelona this year?
I mean, they just need money. That's why they did Griezmann. But another one, Tottenham signed a right back named Emerson from Barcelona. And it was like there was a big controversy because Emerson was like he came through the youth at Barcelona, I think. And then he got loaned a bunch like to get playtime, obviously. And then this year was supposed to be his Barcelona year. And they had like that big unveiling where he does like the keep ups, like with all the fans in the stadium. And they were like, "You're definitely for the future." Like that's what the president told them, and then they had to sell him just because they have no money. But like they still have good players. Like they still have. I think Ansu Fati's taking the number 10. So I
Yep.
like, and he's like 17 or something. So he's good. They still have De Jong. Their defense is still basically the same. They have. I think Memphis is super good.
Memphis looks.
They
I
look so good.
like. I'm obviously happy we got Ronaldo back, but like Memphis was so bad for United,
Yeah,
and he's just looked so good. So I just
yeah.
wish they would have given him more time. But yeah, he's looked really good.
But I don't think they're gonna win La Liga. They just they just look lost, kind of.
It it is one of the weirder things. Like it was weird for me when I first saw LeBron James in a Miami Heat jersey.
Hmm.
It's going to be weird to see Lionel Messi obviously line up in a PSG jersey, but it's also going to be weird to watch Barcelona just without Lionel Messi.
Yeah,
Like I don't even think I was following, or yeah, I was probably. It's been 18, almost 18 years probably since Barcelona's been without Messi, so
yeah.
it's crazy. I think it's going to be weird. But yeah, I don't know. The Emerson guy, is he good? I mean, that's just another good thing for.
Yeah, they say he's like raw, like, but he'll be good, I think. So,
Yeah,
but Tottenham, they had a sneaky good transfer window. Like, not a lot of names that everyone knows, but I mean, they got Nuno, which has to count. They got a sporting director, which is they've needed, like, with the
yeah,
best in Italy. So we're just raiding the Italian league now. So it's
yeah.
not a terrible time to be a Spurs fan yet.
It's not. It's not. Any other transfers before we can get into the? I know I don't think we came on, but Varane is to United.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, him and Harry Maguire didn't look great on Sunday morning in their first time together at the
yeah.
back two, but I have confidence they'll be all right. Also, I mean, so let's just. Do you have any other transfers to talk about?
That's I think we got all the big ones.
All right, so we'll move into just what's been going on in the Premier League. We need to talk about Arsenal first. Like
I love it, honestly.
I I almost like it's always funny because my brother's a big Arsenal fan and like they've been bad for a while and this year they're like really bad and like I'm at the point where I almost feel bad for them.
Yeah,
They are
yeah,
so bad. It's almost unbelievable. I mean, 5-0 this past weekend to City, which isn't crazy because like, City might be the best team in the league. But
but
and then
it's still
losing the two before. Who did they lose on opening weekend to?
Brentford.
Yeah, then they just get
They just got promoted. They're supposed to be like the worst team.
yeah, I don't know how Arteta is still in charge. Like I
Yeah,
just don't get that. Like at some point, like I don't care how much money or whatever. Like you need to do like the college football system where you go talk to boosters or whatever and be like, hey, you pay for his buyout in the new coach because
yeah,
Arsenal is being like. All right. Well, just keep going on from Arsenal. Like they signed Odegaard. I thought that was a good move,
yeah. He's good. He's definitely
but
good.
he really didn't. I mean, he didn't have a chance to play well this
Yeah.
weekend. I guess I would say. Um, where does Arsenal go from here? Like, do you try and get some more out of the January transfer window, or do you just chop this season up as a loss and just build funds towards next summer?
I mean, because they spent the most out of any team this summer buying
They spent a
players,
good amount.
but I mean, they didn't buy anyone that like immediately makes them better, which is the issue. But I mean, they're at 20th right now, obviously, last in the league, 0 points, 0 goals. As much as I would love to see them relegated, it's just not going to happen.
I
It can't like at some point someone is going to start scoring. Like they have too many names. They have Aubameyang, Pepe, Saka. Like they have to start.
Yeah, and
I would love to see
there
them
are
relegated.
there are bad enough teams in the league that just by like the law of averages, they
Yeah.
won't get relegated. But if you were to ask me if I was in like an outsider of soccer and like didn't watch it at all, but just watched the first 3 weekends,
Oh yeah, they look bad.
I would be like Arsenal's the worst team in the league, and it's not really that close. Um,
They have to get rid of Arteta. They have
I,
to.
I don't know why they're prolonging it. I don't
They
like
have to.
maybe they don't have a plan for someone else who's in charge, but for Arsenal that might be the best thing because
Yeah.
like just get rid of Arteta and be like, okay, like put some random dude in there, be like he's the interim manager, and then so if the season goes completely south, like which is look like it's what it's going to be going, then you just blame it on the interim manager and hire a different manager, or if he
Yeah.
somehow like motivates the team and they finish in the top 10, then you just well he's the savior, and then but I don't know where they go from here. For a while or for a couple of days there I was thinking that they could be relegated, but I mean you're right, in like the real world they probably won't,
Hmm.
but I think there's a real chance they could finish like 15th or 14th.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they're not in the top 10 this year.
Yeah, they look so bad. It's crazy. We kind of talked about Spurs, but I mean, anything else you kind of want to add? Like I said, like you said too, as well. Top of the table. They've been, I would say, they put together the three most impressive performances overall. I think the best performance I've seen from a single team is either United versus Leeds or City versus Arsenal, but
Yeah.
those are way different. But like in the span of 3 weekends, I think they have the most complete resume right now.
Well, they are the only team to win all three, and they haven't conceded a goal, but they've won each game 1-0. And I mean, winning 1-0 against City, that's not going to be a high scoring game. And then they 1-0 against Wolves, 1-0 against Watford. It's not like that's why I'm a little more reserved. Like if they were winning like 3-0, 4-0, I'd be like, okay, this is legit. But last year scoring goals wasn't an issue, and we didn't have Kane for the first two games, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm just really happy with the defense, especially since we signed Italy's best defender last year, like in the league, and he hasn't even played yet. Like we've been doing it with Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer, were awful last year. So
I
I'm
can't
like
believe, I can't believe
proud
Eric
of
Dyer
them.
plays for you guys.
Yeah, I mean we were ready to sell Sanchez like for sure this summer, and then he started playing like Maldini, so he has to stay. But they made good signings, like kind of unheard people signings for this future. They got rid of a bunch of older guys, and now I think their only player over 30 is Hugo Lloris, and he's a goalkeeper, so that's fine. So I'm happy with the team. I just wish we were in the Champions League. Obviously, we're in like the third tier of at least we're in a European competition, but we have to win it now.
Yeah, but and also, I mean, if anything, it gives you a leg up in the Premier League race because you
Yeah,
aren't
that's
going to
true.
have as many tired legs. So, yeah, it does suck not being playing Champions League football, but I mean, then you're all in on the league, so
Yeah,
that's
that's
kind of cool
true.
too. Um, we talked about Liverpool and Chelsea. We didn't talk about their match. Did you see it? Because I was very surprised they gave Reece James. Well, I don't know. What did you think of the red card?
Well, there's a lot of like being on Premier League Twitter. The referee who ref that game, I think it's Anthony Taylor. Like every Chelsea fan is like they're signing a petition to have him never ref a Chelsea game ever again because he's just like there's been so many mistakes against them. But with the change of rules, that's why it was a red card because the rule is something now like if the ball if it touches your hand when it's gonna score or something, it's an automatic red and a penalty, which I think is dumb because I mean it should have been a penalty for sure because it went off his leg into his hand. But it was I think the red should only be if it's like
On purpose.
on purpose, yeah. And that was
Yeah, like
obviously not on purpose because it got deflected. And he
yeah,
was
like
like,
Louis, yeah,
yeah, like
Luis
Luis Suarez.
Suarez.
Yeah.
Yeah, No,
But
I was shocked to see that he got a red card.
I they have made good changes in the handball rules and and all the rules, like the VAR. It's like all much faster now, and like the offsides, I think they gave the offensive player a little advantage, but I guess they messed up the handball for in the box, but they fixed it for the rest. Like unless it leads to a goal or it's on purpose, it like you keep playing because all of them are just like bouncing up into their hand. Like it's not like they can do anything.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean so I didn't know about the new rules. It's once again where you just know more than I do, but yeah, I mean that makes sense. But yeah, no, to me, yeah, that wasn't the same as like what happened to Reece James wasn't the same as Luis Suarez literally using his hand to block a goal.
Yeah, it's just like
So
he was trying to block it and it bumped into his hand. It was for sure a penalty because it would have gone in had his hand not been there. But it's not like his hand was like up here and it went off his leg and hit it. It was like close to his body. But I mean, they Chelsea still tied with them, which I think was a big win for Chelsea
mhm.
without with a man down. They look super good. I mean, they
Yeah, yeah, I think
Lukaku's
they,
just going to get better, I think, as he adapts again to the league.
I
Saul, I think, is a
mean,
big pickup.
it's almost surprised, like not surprised me, but like Lukaku is straight up a center forward that's built for the Premier League. He's big
Yeah,
and strong.
huge.
Like so he should have been playing in the Premier League for his entire career. I mean he would just been really good. But
Well, if you the picture, the side by side pictures of his last year at United versus now, it looks like he's lost like 50 pounds, but he's just like he looks stronger.
yeah, he's just cut.
He's just a beast.
Yeah, I think honestly, if you look at all the leagues, the English Premier League probably had the best transfer window, especially the
Oh yeah,
top couple
it,
teams in the
it,
transfer window.
except for PSG.
Yeah, I mean,
And the fact that PSG only spend money on Hakimi is the crazy part. They got everyone else for free.
well, also, I just want everyone to know that I'm going to be cheering against PSG in every game I've seen them or anything, just because to me, I have no connection to them, and them not winning the Champions League, it would be awesome to me. So,
See,
and
since
I'm sick of Lionel Messi winning things. Get out of my face, Lionel Messi.
okay, relax. Since Spurs aren't in the Champions League, I'm all in on PSG.
You suck.
I love
You know
Messi.
what? We'll have to do some. We'll have to do some bets with some things on the line at some point down the
Okay,
road.
fair enough.
We'll see. Let's get into a little bit of Manchester City. I don't think they much more to talk about. I thought it was an ugly loss. Spurs. I thought Spurs played really, really well, especially defensively. But it was a match I thought that City should have been able to pull out, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about every City game. Is they should be able to win every game.
Yeah, I feel
Kind of
like
like the only one
I
who
feel
can
like
beat
it,
City is City, really.
yeah, like I feel like they should be beating teams 5-0 like they beat Arsenal. Like I feel like they should be
Yeah,
beating teams 3-0 and 4-0, 5-0. So they look good. Like I said, I didn't think they needed a center forward and they didn't get one. So I guess you would look at them as maybe a little down from that. But other than that, the players that they have at all four levels, they're just City. They're City. I mean, they're consistent. Pep's consistent. So they're going to be at the top of the table all year. So
yeah,
um, we'll see. And then before we get into the other leagues, United, obviously, game by game breakdown. No, not really. They looked great versus Leeds. They looked terrible against Southampton. Mason Greenwood saved the day. And then they also didn't look good against Wolves this past weekend. Traore is an animal. He's a man amongst boys. I've never seen someone who has bigger legs than him in my entire life.
yeah,
Like he looks weird playing soccer because his legs are so strong.
yeah. And I think he said that he doesn't lift weights. Like
It,
that's
it,
just like that.
some of the power he was able to get on some of his strikes, just like coming out of nowhere, was I was very impressed by him. I had heard that maybe United was going to go after him over the summer, but they didn't. I got to tell you, I'd rather have Traore on my team than play against him. So
Yeah,
I will say
Spurs
that.
went after him a lot, but the only thing he is a, can get by anyone, but he couldn't hit the side of a barn with the ball.
Yeah. Well,
His he cannot shoot.
I mean, it's Ben Simmons. Hey, you take him
Yeah,
on. Hope you can fix him.
exactly.
And then De Gea, I don't know if you saw it, an incredible save. The first save was kind of just
Oh yeah,
named right spot, right time. But then the second save was, I mean, it was excellent. I thought the broadcasters did a great job. It was an insane save. I mean, if David De Gea is back on his form when he was like in pre 2016, pre 2017, pre last World Cup, things are heating up for United.
yeah.
I was never sold on Dean Henderson. I think he's probably very good, but he also picked up COVID in the offseason, so he can't play right now. So it's given um,
Okay.
De Gea some time to shine, and he's made the most of it. So good for him. And then Greenwood, like I said, again, just, I mean, Solskjaer said it forever, but I mean, he's the best finisher on the team, and
Mhm.
it shows. It shows. He's
He's so
like
good.
I love, like, people still make the joke that Mbappe is still 19. Well, Mason Greenwood is actually still
Yeah,
19. So he's really, really good. I just wish he would put on some weight because he's not as
he's tiny.
strong. Yeah, he's scrawny. Well, I mean, that's all the guys. I mean, Rashford needs to put on weight too. Let's jump into real quickly the other three big leagues. La Liga, six are tied at the top of the table. You kind of talked about Barcelona. We kind of talked about that. I agree. I think Atletico now back with Griezmann, if he can find some decent run of form, I think they're I would say they're my favorites to win the league. And then you said it earlier, but Ansu Fati, 18 years old, is going to wear Messi's number 10 shirt.
Yep, good for
Um,
him. I mean, he'll probably be there, and he might have a similar career. Not he might not be as good as Messi, but like similar length career as Messi.
I immediately searched Ansu Fati's name because I had no idea who he was. And the first thing that came up in the top stories is a Marca article that says, handing Ansu Fati the number 10 shirt is an irresponsible move by Barcelona. I know soccer players are all weird about their numbers and stuff, but in the end, guys, it's a number. It's a number. So,
I don't think you can't not have a number 10. Like
oh,
that's like
yeah.
the most famous soccer number.
Yeah. I mean, Rashford switched to 10 as soon as he could.
Yeah.
Onto the Bundesliga. Wolfsburg's on top of the table. I don't think they play any good, so that doesn't surprise me. Bayern Munich look as good as they ever have. Lewandowski, he's got to be close to 40, and he still scores like 6 goals a game. He's insane. I had heard that City were going to look to target him, or that PSG were going to look to target him if like Mbappe go. But yeah, Giovanni Reina has been showed already that he's really, really good so far for Dortmund. I think he has 1 goal already and a couple assists. He's looked very good. And back to your point on Romelu Lukaku being the best striker in the world, he probably might be, but if he is, Erling Haaland is not far behind. I haven't
Yeah.
seen a player or a center forward like him at such a young age be able to just be, he's so powerful yet so quick. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't watch a ton of him last year because I was like, okay, this guy's young, like he's not that big. Like, I know he's great. It was a huge signing for them, blah blah blah. But like, do I really care that much? And I watch because I obviously watch the Dortmund recaps just for see how Reina did most of the time. He just dominates. Like, once he
Yeah.
gets the ball past half field, he just dominates. It's crazy.
He's super good. I
Yeah, and there was another
I
article today on ESPN about how United are targeting him next year. That'd be great. I'd love it. Hopefully, Ronaldo has a great season and he shows how he can come to United and be great. So he'll come to United maybe next summer. He'll stay for like 3, 4, 5 years, then probably go to PSG and then Real Madrid and then China. Who knows? And then League One, probably the least followed league by me. Is there anything to talk about other than PSG?
No,
Yeah, I didn't.
no. There's
I
also
didn't.
the Italian league though,
Oh yes, yes. I knew I was forgetting one.
which
What's
is
going on in the Italian league?
well, Juventus look lost without Ronaldo now. They have Inter.
Speaking of that, that
Yeah,
that was so weird. How basically up until a week ago, I didn't hear like any rumblings about Ronaldo wanting to be out of Juventus, and then one day I just saw it, and I was like, "What? This is out of nowhere."
yeah. That's
Is
pretty
that
much
like you for two?
yeah.
Is
That's
that
pretty much how
you?
it happened. Like it kind of just it kind of just went from like he he was thinking about leaving to like okay, I'm leaving. Like find me a new team. So Juventus look lost. They lost their only game without him, and they tied the game that he played in. Inter, like you said, lost a lot of their players. Who Lazio is currently top of the league, and then Roma with Mourinho as
Oh yeah.
manager, they're tied for top also, and
I
they look
remember
good.
the last time we talked, Marino had just been, or last time we did this, Marino had just been
Yeah,
hired by them, and there was a video of him getting mad at some windows during a press conference. So that's
yeah,
always good.
they look super good, but I think that's probably the most open league, like where any team, Lazio, Milan, Inter, Juventus, Roma, Napoli, anyone could win.
Soccer is better with Jose Mourinho in it. So I'm all in on Roma. I love Jose Mourinho. I hope he never comes near my team ever again, but I'm all in for his hijinks everywhere else.
I think he should just have a TV show where he just does press conferences.
Oh yeah, it would be great. Everyone loves like Ted Lasso, but
Yeah,
they should do a show with just Marino, like how he actually coaches and how he
yeah,
does things. And I think people would think that's really funny, especially Americans.
yeah.
Um,
They would.
so unfortunately, after 3 straight weeks of greatness on the weekends, we have our first weekend without any club games, matches. It is the international break. There were a couple big games. The U.S. has 3 qualifiers coming up. Like I said, they did get some bad news this morning. Pulisic will miss their qualifier versus El Salvador tomorrow. Um,
Hmm.
so since we last talked, the U.S. they did get into the top 10 rankings of the FIFA, which I don't think well. It actually does mean something if they were to be in the top 10 and the World Cup rolls around because of the pots and everything.
Hmm.
Um, but right now, I don't think it means anything. I think it's funny that they're ahead of Mexico,
Yeah.
but they should be. They beat them twice. Um, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the men's national team right now? I'm pretty high on them.
Yeah, I'm pretty high too. I mean, they brought like their strongest team to the qualifiers, so I expect them to win all three. Like
Yeah.
especially Salvador and Honduras. Like those have to be like quick, easy games.
Yeah.
Canada is a little bit better, but still, you should be beating them easily. I
Doesn't Canada have one player that's really good?
Alfonso Davies.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah, we talked about him. Okay.
but I mean, I'm fully expecting them to be in the World Cup now. Like they definitely have put that standard out there.
Yeah, and like I wasn't the biggest fan of Berhalter when they signed him as the manager, just because I didn't like he was the crew coach forever, and
Yeah.
like I had almost been like because I did follow the crew a little bit. I was like, I don't know, is this really the guy you want like running it all?
Uh-huh.
Um, he's been incredible, and over the summer, if anything he's opened. I mean, he's got a pool of probably 50 players he can choose from at this point. I
Yeah.
mean, there were 2 separate teams that won those two, the Gold Cup and the Nations League. So, yeah, I agree. I expect them to win all 3. I expect them to honestly, other than maybe the games versus Mexico, or even, if there is a game versus Mexico in like the northern part of the United States, I wouldn't be worried about that. I would be worried about it more southern, I guess, because
Yeah.
of the fans and everything. But yeah, the way they've been playing, I expect them to roll pretty easily through CONCACAF.
Yeah, and not even like they should make it out of the group stage of the World Cup. How they're playing.
Oh yeah, I mean I think they. Well, I mean it is weird that it's only a year away. but yeah, it's definitely. I'm excited for it. Yeah, and I think they will. I think people, if they keep up the way they're playing, I think they'll be on like a lot of people's sleeper kind of list for the
Yeah.
next World Cup.
Yeah.
And then one player that I think will end up starting by the time the World Cup rolls around is I had him in here, Miles Robinson. He
Mhm.
was insane, like on defense going forward in the Gold Cup. Because I didn't watch all of them. I watched the final. I watched one of the group games, and I caught the highlights of the rest of them. He was incredible in the back four. He obviously scored the huge goal. The funniest thing about all of that was obviously that the Mexico coach Tati or whatever his name is.
Mhm.
He was the coach of Atlanta United and drafted Miles Robinson and just like didn't play him ever, and then he leaves and Miles Robinson gets the last laugh. But yeah, no, I thought he was really good. And it's more about the Concacaf. I mean, as long as even without Pulisic, as long as you got Reyna, Dest, McKinney, those guys, I mean, they should roll pretty easily through this.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I'm not too worried about it. Well, there are some other qualifiers going on. Um, Portugal versus Ireland today. I don't really know who's playing both of them. I assume all the real people because it is a qualifier. I don't know if
Yeah.
that means Ronaldo's playing.
Ronaldo is he I know he's at with Portugal. I don't know if he's gonna play, but he's
Oh,
there.
it's with them. Okay, so then, oh yeah, I would still cheer for Ireland. I need Ireland back in my life. They're soccer
Mhm.
fans. And then U.S. men's national team versus El Salvador tomorrow. I think that should be a pretty easy one. Where I'm trying to think. I don't know where that one's being played at. Well, my computer's about to freeze, so that's great. It's great. I'll look it up in a sec. What are some other ones I have? Sweden versus Spain tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see Spain and Sweden. Ukraine versus France on Saturday. That could be a little tougher for Ukraine or France than I think they probably expect.
Mhm.
But I mean, Ukraine made it out of the group stage in the Euros, so it
Yep.
could be a little tougher for them. But I do expect them to win. And then U.S. men's national team again versus Canada on Sunday. I agree with you, kind of. If there is one of these three games that might be a little more difficult than the other ones, it's probably this one. I believe it's in Canada as well.
Mhm.
Not that that makes a huge difference, but I would expect them to win that one as well. Um, and then Brazil versus Peru next Thursday. I don't know if these are all on TV. The U.S. teams will all be on TV. I don't know which network will be hosting them. I highly doubt it's ESPN, so I would think either NBC or Fox.
Yeah. I
Um,
would lean towards probably Fox.
yeah, they've done most of it. And then yeah, I think that's going to do it for us today. Good for us for keeping it close to an hour. There's a lot to talk about. Just as a reminder, U21 qualifying is also underway. We're both hoping for some good men's national team results. I have a question for you. So, Michael, who do you think has been the best player in the Premier League thus far? 3 weeks in.
Whew. I'm gonna say Paul Pogba.
This is gonna seem so like scripted. I was gonna say Son. So,
Well,
I do think Pogba's performance in the one game was like good enough for like two performances, but I don't think in the other two games he kind of fell to the wayside, whether he wasn't as involved because he didn't want to be or whatever. But yeah, that first game,
yeah.
they people always talk about basketball, like point guards passing and like, I've never really seen it like that in a soccer game. Like that was insane. Those passes he was making. But like I said, yeah, Son has been incredible as well.
You know, I have another one. I think Mikhail Antonio from West Ham. He
Oh,
has
yeah, yeah.
he has 4 goals, 3 assists in 3 games.
Damn.
So
Yeah, that's
he's
7 points through 3 games. That's pretty damn good.
he's been pretty good. So I'll
Um,
go with him instead of Pogba. You convinced me.
and then I don't know how much I want to get into this. I just put it on here because you won't see it. Have you heard anything about the Bishop Sycamore?
Mm-mm.
You've
I
never
don't.
heard? You haven't heard about this?
I don't know what it
What?
is.
All right. We'll talk about it next time then.
Okay.
Just honestly search Bishop Sycamore on Google, and it's one of the crazy. It's not about soccer. It's football,
Okay.
but it's one of the craziest stories you'll see in a long. Just search Bishop
Yeah.
Sycamore,
I'll check it out.
Sycamore. We'll talk about it next week, but it's been incredible. Also, final question. Iker Casillas and Gianluigi Buffon are the second and third all-time in career saves. Who's fifth? I only did fifth because it's still a present player. So yeah, who do you have?
It's a present player.
He still plays.
Is it Manuel Neuer?
Correct.
Who's first?
Some Russian.
Oh,
It's like Yevgeny Len or something.
Oh,
So yeah, no. It's Neuer. So I feel like Neuer is like gonna play till he's like 50 because he's just like this
he's
big German oaf, but
he's still
he's
so
awesome.
good.
Yeah, he's awesome. So we'll be probably back at it next week. I will release this one tomorrow. I'll do a preview video tonight, and then we'll release it tomorrow. And then probably next Wednesday or Thursday again, we'll be back at it to preview the Premier League's week 4, and then obviously the World Cup qualifiers. Michael, definitely check out Bishop Sycamore for me.
Yes, I
And
will.
then anything else, my man?
That's all. Have a good
All
week.
right. We shall see you guys next week.
Yep.